bring her.
Should we help her do that?
Well, that's what all these positions do for her. Like when we put her on her side and having her look at the toy here, down here where her shoulders are. We want to get her vision down. We want to bring her vision down a little bit. Get her to look down. We want her hip, her shoulder, and her ear lined up. And when she's practicing this, if it's too hard, then you can get her. Sometimes if you get her that she's hungry, I don't know if she's been there. Atta girl. I give her a pacifier. It's easier for her to line up. And see how I had her chase the pacifier?
Uh huh.
There we go. There, she's kind of lined up. She's hungry. All right.
We can give her a little food and then.
Let's eat.
So tell me that again.
I'm gonna do these exercises first. This just gets her mouth prepared for the feed. Gets her tongue. See how her tongue is following me, and that'll help her keep her tongue forward while she's feeding or she's bringing. Each time she sucks, she does a pretty good job though. Somebody was saying her tongue's out a lot.
It is. She always has her tongue out.
This is working on her opening, because I remember that first time I met her, she was barely opening her mouth for the bottle. Danny was having a hard time getting the bottle in there. So this is working on her opening. See how she's open and closing? And sometimes she just clamps, but she's actually doing really good right now. I'm not very far back, but I'm perpendicular to the bite line. And then I'm going to go to this side. So sometimes I'll have them do more, but she's pretty hungry. I don't want to push her. See how many she can do. I like that her tongue is over there. Her lips feel nice and loose. All right, you ready, girl?
And you feed her on her side because
feed her on
why?
Her side so that she has a better chance of getting. Atta girl, go. Got it? She didn't latch. Hold on. I'm gonna have her bring her tongue forward. That's it. So if the milk is pooling, yeah, this is what happened that first day. You got to get her tongue down and forward. You bounce up on your hand for a minute. Ready? You're looking right at the camera.
Her bib's coming off.
There she goes. I have that washcloth there. So if it comes too fast, it won't pool in the back of her throat. It'll pool in the side of her cheek so that she won't feel threatened by the milk. Nice, mature suck pattern. She just got this uncoordinated right for a second. She did a little click. She lost suction. And that's probably
like the same thing she does with her binky.
Mm-hmm. She's got a nice pattern going. I'm also giving her jaw support. My pinky is underneath her chin.
So what do you think about babies that get their bottles propped?
Well, I don't know. I feel like that feeding is kind of a nurturing thing. It's kind of like, I don't know. So we want to give her milk, but we want to give her love too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so propping the bottle is kind of like TV dinner. I don't know.
I agree.
It's better for them to be held while they're eating so that they feel that connection, nurturing and nourishment at the same time. Sometimes around this age, is she, how many months or how many weeks are we here?
She's almost 8. I think she's about 8 weeks.
Sometimes they get a little sloppy because they go, like when they're first born, they have more like natural flexion, and then now she's working on some of her extension.
She's really focused on the camera because it hasn't taken her eyes off of it. I'm going to stop though because can you tell me a little bit about attachment disorder?
Well, I don't know about attachment disorder. I mean, I do know about attachment disorder, but the idea of attachment, it builds resilience. And so at any moment, if Ruby feels like she needs somebody, then you guys have so many people, there's somebody there. But you pick her up, reassure her, and then when she feels reassured, you can put her back down if you're working on like her being able to be more independent. As she builds this postural foundation with being able to be secure against gravity by herself on a firm, flat surface, then she'll be able to do it more. But when she needs to be picked up, she needs to be picked up. So that. Well,
how do you know when she needs to be picked up?
She'll tell you.
So does that mean you just pick her up every time she cries, or you just? Because
I think some book I read, there's a little mnemonic that you go to the baby, try to figure out what they need first. You go and talk to them, and she is such a good communicator. Like you go to her and look at her and talk to her. What do you need? Are you hungry? And if she's just had it, then she needs to be picked up. But she may just need someone to communicate with her, maybe play with her a little bit. Maybe she's telling you she's hungry. Maybe she wants her diaper changed.
maybe she just wants some love.
Right. And then, but if we're trying to work with her, then, as part of her, like if she's trying to learn to sleep by herself or that sort of thing, you go to her and you pick her up. This one book I read said you go and you pick them up and you reassure them. This is for like an older baby, like maybe 4 or 5 months old. And you pick them up and when they're calmed, then you put them back down and you walk away. And then if they cry again, you go back in, you pick them up, calm them down. You might do that 40 times.
Oh, great.
But then if that's what you're working on, if that's what you want to learn, how to, if they're trying to sleep by themselves or something.
So you don't just let them cry.
Don't just let them cry. Because then they learn, the attachment gets all whacked out. And there's all kinds of different...
They learn that there's no one there for them.
There's different attachment, there's different ways that there's like 4 different types of attachment. There's like insecure attachment and like... So it's not just attachment disorder. There's like 4 different types. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But the best thing we can do for her is to meet her needs as immediately as we can. You're so tired. You've had a huge day. You've been working on your attachment all day long, huh? Tell my mom.